with abuse. You've been molested by an uncle, by a relative, by a friend, and you've kept it to yourself. And it's kept you struggling with certain things to the point, I'm telling you, I've worked with people where the woman would say, he doesn't want to get into me, he's so cold, or every time I touch her there, she doesn't, is it me? No, it was never you. Something happened. Their childhood was robbed from them. It was taken from them. And many of you, some of you that are here today that have gone through abuse, you have that guilt. And he said, Lord, I feel so dirty. And so then you become overprotective. Another reason, peer rejection. When your peers reject you, especially in the phase of a child when he's going through his identity phase. Please listen to this. You can have two boys, mother, parents. Some of you have this. You can have two boys that came out of you, and one is very sensitive and caring and loving and loves the flowers and loves beautiful things. And then you can have a rough and tumble another little boy. It came out from the same hole. I'm trying to prove something. But you have one that is sensitive and you have one that is rough. Watch. You will see a 3-year-old kid. What I'm about to tell you right now is what comes from Rick Shirley's mouth. He says, you can have a 3-year-old kid who seems feminine. And it's quick to say, oh, he was born late. And a lot of times we'll use that phrase. And we will confuse femininity with sensitivity. Can I preach? Let's rewind. Adam and Eve had 2 sons. One was Abel. But it's not until you realize what they did for a living that begins to tell you who was the Rough Rider and who was the sensitive guy. You better stay with me. For when Cain was born, he was rough and tumble, and he was a man of agriculture, and he was a farmer, and he got dirty, and he liked to get scraped up, and he liked to do what he liked to do. But when Abel came, he liked to tend the sheep. I'll just hang here with the sheep. I'll pet them. And if you don't see, I'm not telling you that Abel was gay. I'm telling you that he was sensitive. There are people today that have a sensitive heart but have been forced in a rough position. Can I name you one? Manti. That guy is probably one of the hardest hitting people you will see, but he's one of the most sensitive persons you will ever meet. Billy Graham, the greatest evangelist of all time, sensitive guy. He's not gay. But we make the mistake of misinterpreting a character. For this man that I'm talking to you about said that when he was growing up, his father would take him. He said, son, I feel it's time that we spend some father and son time. And the son was like, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to a baseball game. And he's like, all right. So they would go to the baseball game. Watch this, true story. They'd go to the baseball game, and he invited all his friends, another man to come over with his sons, and we're going to have a good old time. And while most boys that are the rough type would be okay with that, he was too busy looking at the way they cut the grass. Wow, look at how they cut the grass. Look at this scoreboard. He could care less about the game. So the dad began to resent him. What the hell's wrong with you, son? The game's over here. Oh, but I'm enjoying the game, Dad. I just don't really care if someone's hitting or not. I'm here with you. Oh, God, let me preach. And so we tend to force. We try to force a character on something that our child was not born with. For I even see women who are lesbians right now that have men's name because dad wanted a boy, he didn't want a girl. So because you were born a girl, I'm still going to call you by a man's name. And we think it's okay because that's what you're going to be, that's what I told you. Relational brokenness. Be careful, parents, to understand what kind of children you have. And don't try to force one to do something that the other does. One of the mistakes that we do as parents is we compare. You should be more like him. He makes better grades than you. Yeah, but the kid can't kick a football. While this guy is an athlete, but really not that great. And so we mixed characters. There are 3 things as humans that we need. Somebody say 3. I got to keep moving through this time. Number 1 is the 3 A's. Number 1 is affirmation. Number 2 is attention. And number 3 is affection. Stay with me. Number 1, affirmation. What is affirmation? Affirmation is when I tell my son, I believe in you. I love you and you're doing good and you're playing hard. I believe in you. That's great. Keep going. I am affirming him that what he's doing good. Affirmation. Some kids don't get this. So when they find someone to give them that affirmation, there becomes a connection. That connection leads from a friendship to a type of saying, I really just like this guy. I just really love this guy. And so now we confuse love. For I can love guys, and I tell you all the time, I love you, man. I'll tell my friends all the time, guys, I love you guys. But I want to sleep with them. It sounds like a joke, but this is the confusion that people have. Because they think that sex will then connect me with someone that has affirmed me. Am I losing you? Stay with me. And so we have this connection here. Number 2, affection. Check this out. Affection. Someone that is sensitive, they need the touch. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, great job. You know, love, hand, hug, kiss, hug, whatever. But there are some boys, rough riders, that don't need that touch. In fact, they're like, oh, get away. Yes or no? Watch. But you will have the sensitive playing tennis. I'm not making any joke. I'm trying to prove a point from what this guy is saying. He says you will have the tennis player. You will have sometimes the kids in choir. I'm generalizing. Don't be like, hey, my son's in choir. You're saying he's gay. I'm not saying that. I'm trying so you can understand the picture. And I know some of you are like, really, this is not funny. And so you have the kid that is playing him, he doesn't need affection from that other person, but the Rough Rider playing football needs a, hey, good job, pat on the back. You hear what I'm saying? The connection, the type of affection that a rough guy, little boy needs or little girl, is different from the type of a sensitive. And we mix the two, and we have relational brokenness at times. The last one, attention. Everybody needs attention. The only thing some of us feel like we need it more than others. I need you to notice me. You remember your kids when they were growing up? Dad, look at me, Dad, look. And they're doing nada. But they just want your attention. Well, Dad's not paying attention. And Mom's always on her phone. So let me just go find it somewhere else. Games, girlfriends, relationships. Now, that's why we have 15-year-olds youth. Wake up. We got 15-year-old girls that are taking naked pictures on Facebook because they just need someone to tell them that they love them. Just look at me. My mom didn't really care for me. My dad left me a long time ago. So let me take this picture. You may judge me for it. I just need a like. I just need someone to comment and say, man, you look good.